Good morning.
Good morning.
I have sort of a loose title going on here, and a rather amorphous talk, and I promise to keep it short. It's not hard for me. So, I call this the mess I own. Very recently, I purchased 3 acres that adjoins my property. And with this 3 acres is a dilapidated 100-year-old log cabin. And I bought it for the obvious reason that it is right directly next to mine. I'm not sure that anybody would want to just buy this. They would probably look at the cabin and want to just bulldoze it. And then the rest of the property is pretty much vertical, or it's directly next to Griffey Nature Preserve, and you really can't build anything there, which is something I actually like. So I will not have neighbors. I mean, they will not build directly next to me here. However, I do want to use the cabin as my shop, because I'm probably going to lose my shop in the next couple of years, which is out in Owen County. So this place was owned by a fellow named Jim Bob Lowry, and he was in theater arts. I think he did a lot of the sets designs at IU at one point. And really nice but eccentric fellow, a little bit of a St. Francis figure. He loved animals. It would be nothing to drive past the place and see deer. His several cats, maybe a raccoon. There was a large black snake you'd often see going across the road. He said it used to sleep with him. I don't know if that's true or not. So there were always animals, and there was all these projects that he had going on kind of constantly. Except in his later days, he became incapacitated with all kinds of breathing issues. What I soon found out after kicking around on the property a few times, I'll just say outright that Jim Bob died in June of 2019. And so his daughter, the only heir, had it in court, or whatever legal process has to happen in order for her to come to own it, because I don't think he actually had a will or anything. So it took a while for me to even know if I could possess the place, and it came up that it was actually considerably cheaper than I thought it would be. So I just felt like I could not let it go. Anyway, what has happened is in figuring out what I can do with this place, how I can turn it into a shop and maintain the integrity of the cabin. I'm seeing all of the things that Jim Bob has kept. I mean, the guy was a hoarder. And it has had, a couple of years to just sit there in the leaky roof and grow mold. And so inside there is, there's art supplies, there's also several stereos, various kinds of stereos, a meager bed, old clothes, old photographs. All of this stuff, almost all of this stuff is beyond saving. The one thing that's kind of the core of the speech at this point is that I went to the kitchen and noticed that there was a refrigerator. Nobody has opened that refrigerator in 2 years, and it's full of food. I did one of these, just like that, and I just, oh no, what am I into now? So, I know what I have to do, and I know that there's work involved here, and in the back of my head, I just thought about, can I just turn this over to somebody? And I thought, no, this is my mess. This is my thing to own. So I'm trying to build a talk around this. And looking at this as workday and knowing the work that's involved just to get this place to a workable place. I understand that in the back of my mind, what I do is pursue a kind of perfection. And when I think about this place on other terms, like scientific terms, Jim Bob's place was a closed system. In a closed system, entropy or chaos eventually happens. It's at the last stage of that. Let's hope that's what that is. So I have been plucking through all my notes over the years and all the things I've been saving. So I'm just, also what I want to do is start with a Rumi poem before I get into some of the meat of this. And I'll start with this and I'll finish with this, and hopefully you'll see where it connects. Work. Keep digging your well. Don't think about getting off from work. Water is there somewhere. Submit to a daily practice. Your loyalty to that is a ring on the door. Keep knocking, and the joy inside will eventually open a window and look out to see who's there. That was from his Sunrise Ruby. Okay. It's, as I say, no matter how much I think about this, it's really a kind of pursuit of perfection. I think of my own house and the way, and as slow as I work, and what, to give you a little context, Jim Bob's cabin and my cabin were built by the same guy, a fellow named Lanham. And the road I live on, which is a dead-end road before it goes into Griffey Nature Preserve, is Lanham Road. And there's one other cabin there. There used to be two more. The one other cabin is the home cabin. It's in beautiful shape. My cabin's somewhere in between Jim Bob's and the other one. And it's slowly coming along. And of course I have an idea of perfection if I live long enough and can pull enough money together to put it where I want it. So you can see where I'm going with this. Okay. Here's an interesting phrase I've come across. I don't know where it's from, but it's like all parts are this practice, are designed to disrupt the bureaucracy of ego. So I'm thinking about, the practice that we do here during sesshin. There's a very particular way we do everything. If you've ever done oryoki, it's very particular. And one of the beautiful things about doing sesshin, if you've never done it before and you hope to come around and do it, this is an extended practice period for those who don't know. So we sit, 1, 3, 5, 7 days. And as I was saying, one of the things I really enjoy about this is that in each moment you know what you're doing. Even if it's down to resting at a certain time, you know that you're sitting at a certain time, you're eating food at a certain time, you're sleeping at a certain time. If there's study involved, you're doing that. So everything happens kind of as it should. I like things that are that organized, and that I just kind of lean towards that. That's the perfection I'm looking for. Okay. So what else I'm thinking about is with these two buildings I own, there's a kind of surprise moment I'm having these days. It's about the idea of having to do into just doing. Um, the refrigerator is working up to the just doing part. I'm at the having to do part right now. That means that somehow I'm going to have to break this all down in my head. I think get it out of the house first, somehow get it out in the open. Open it up, figure out if I have to do something with the refrigerant. I don't know if this is actually a modern refrigerator, so it may not have the same Freon-like refrigerant that you can't spew into the atmosphere anymore. So I'll need to somehow arrest the entropy that is happening within the closed system of the refrigerator. I'll open it to the rest of the world and let some of that happen and maybe gain control over it that way, but I'm just not sure how I'm going to do this yet. It probably involves a lot of bleach, and I'm getting an oversized dumpster to get a lot of the messes that are there, and I'm just going to throw them in. So what I've come down to, it occurs to me that this is also kind of a samsaric mess, and we all live samsaric messes. That's what our life is. We live samsara, and we also live samadhi if we can think about it right, if we practice well. So part of the practice here, I can come maybe to think about how to develop the sensibility so that I am able to be moved by the magnificence of just this mess. And I'm starting to like it more. I'm enjoying this place. I was there over the weekend and throwing away all kinds of things, just making huge piles and opening up the one room that's usable that will become the main part of the shop. And it's late in the day, and it's a brilliant, bright, beautiful day, and it just so happens Jim Bob's faces straight west in what's really a kind of enclosed gorge. And so the sun was just trailing in, and all of a sudden it occurred to me how beautiful this place once was and how it can still be. So here I am. My appointment with life here is it's available in this present moment, in this moment to work here. So I'm hoping, and I'm going to ask others if they want to come and help. But okay, wonderful. That's all I'm going to do at this point. But I also want to ask folks to carry this thought into this kind of work that we do here, and that's the way I love to think about how work happens here. I grew up working with my dad, and it was a real drudgery, mostly. But at some point I realized how much he loved the things he did. He loved the work he did. It wasn't work to him. And it became that way for me. I mean, a lot of the things I do, I'm a contractor, I'm a furniture maker. And it's a very satisfying trade, and I think you can find satisfaction in work in just about any way. So I'm going to close. This is as far as I'm going to take this, but I want to read Rumi's poem one more time. Work. Keep digging your well. Don't think about getting off from work. Water is there somewhere. Submit to a daily practice. Your loyalty to that is a ring on the door. Keep knocking, and the joy inside will eventually open a window and look out to see who's there.